Hello everybody and welcome to today's session on Daily Current Affairs with Sathya sir. This is me Satyanarayan from IQ Ideas as I bring you current affairs and news updates from a daily newspaper, interesting articles which can be read to improve your reading comprehension and of course words of vocabulary to improve your overall English. Today is the 30th of July 2025 and without further ado let's jump into today's news headlines. As I open the newspaper, the very first thing is a statement by Prime Minister Modi that no world leader told India to stop Operation Sindoor. Right, this is the statement made by Prime Minister Modi in the ongoing parliamentary sessions, where a lot of opposition party members have been casting aspersions on the operation and the claims by US President Donald Trump that it was he who sought about the ceasefire and mediation between India and Pakistan. So obviously the ruling party has had to come up with various statements. This is following the fact that leader of the opposition in Lok Sabha, Rahul Gandhi, said that the government surrendered to Pakistan and Prime Minister used forces to, I quote, protect his image. Right? In fact, the quote further says, the quote says, and I quote, if Modi ji has even 50% of the courage that Indira Gandhi had, then clearly he must say in Parliament, Donald Trump is lying. Trump, you're a liar. You did not make a ceasefire and we did not lose any planes. I said in this house 3-4 months back and they laughed at me. You have destroyed the single biggest goal of foreign policy. China and Pakistan are fused. End quote. So those are pretty strong words and pretty controversial statement to which of course reply has been given by various members of the ruling party as well. In the other inset of the news, it says Amit Shah, the Home Minister, told the Lok Sabha that all three Pakistani terrorists who gunned down 26 civilians in Pahalgam on April 22nd were killed in Dachigam on the outskirts of Srinagar on Monday. This, of course, is the thing which led to the Operation Sindoor, in which a lot of terrorist camps and other locations in the enemy country were struck down. Okay, now a couple of other news. This is regarding the special intensive revision being carried out in the electoral rolls ahead of the Bihar polls. So the Supreme Court has said that it will step in if there is mass exclusion in the Bihar poll rolls, right? So obviously there have been a lot of speculations and a lot of accusations that there's a lot many people are being excluded from the electoral rolls in Bihar, and of course majority of the claims being made by the opposition, to which the Supreme Court has made this statement, and it has given the go ahead to the Election Commission to publish the draft list on the 1st of August. In fact, the Apex Court has said, and I quote, we are overseeing the process. The Jan 2025 voter list forms the base. If there is mass exclusion from it, we will immediately step in. So that's pretty interesting news to read. A small column, but nevertheless related to law again. There is a Supreme Court news again, where the Supreme Court questions the age restriction for surrogacy. Now, what is surrogacy? So, when a couple is unable to have a child on their own, then through through artificial insemination and in vitro fertilization and a lot of other techniques, a third person, a woman who matches certain criteria, is chosen to carry the fertilized egg in her womb for the duration of the pregnancy. So the biological father and the mother, the male and the female, will of course have the zygotes given, but the fetus is carried to term by another woman. So that is in a nutshell what surrogacy is. And questioning the restrictions under surrogacy laws, including age limit on intended parents and surrogate mothers, the Supreme Court said laws should not frustrate the wish of childless couples, widows, or divorcees to become parents through surrogacy. Instead, laws should frustrate commercial surrogacy. So, a Supreme Court bench said that the present laws seem harsh to those wanting to take the surrogacy route to parenthood. The bench is examining the provisions of the Surrogacy Regulation Act of 2021 and Assisted Reproductive Technology Regulation Act of 2021. So this law sets age limits for intended parents and surrogate mothers. Specifically speaking, an intended mother should be aged between 23 and 50, and the intended father between 26 and 55 years. The surrogate mother must be married and between 25 and 35 years of age, have a biological child, and only act as a surrogate once in her lifetime. So, law aspirants should definitely be reading the extension of this news, which I, of course, will be going through, which is on another page. But definitely a very, very interesting news to be followed. We move ahead, we see the city page with just local news. So that is not going to be of much relevance. Even the state news page only seems to have news which is relevant to the local populace. So we quickly move ahead to the nation page. Okay, in the nation page, there is another pronouncement by the Supreme Court which says that Tamil Nadu government playing fraud on system in Balaji case. The Supreme Court on Tuesday slammed the Tamil Nadu government for clubbing all cash for job scam cases, which now has over 2,000 accused, including those who gave bribe to the then Minister V. Senthil Balaji for jobs in the State Transport Corporation, and said this appeared to be a tactic to make the trial never ending. So, a lot of Supreme Court pronouncements happening. Okay. The next page is a health page, which seems to have a rather interesting article on the topic that sudden heart attack isn't as sudden as you think. And below it, after 19 years of trying for a baby, this couple lost hope, but AI made it happen. So, medicine and technology might be interesting to a few people. But we quickly move ahead to the next page, again the nation page. And now we have the detailed article about the Supreme Court questioning the age restrictions under surrogacy laws. So please do read this entire article with great interest, especially those students who are law aspirants and planning to appear for entrance exams, such as the common law admission test. The next page we move on to is the global page, and of course a lot of conflicts happening around the world in regular news. So one news update is UK will recognize Palestinian state unless Israel stops war. Okay, let's see what it says. So the UK will recognize a Palestinian state in September unless Israel agrees to a ceasefire in Gaza, allows UN to bring in aid, and takes other steps towards long-term peace. This is what the UK Prime Minister Keir Starmer said. Okay, so that's a pretty interesting statement, and let's see how this news unravels. Okay, a small update on President Donald Trump of the United States and his tariff thingies. So the US and China have finished talks in Stockholm as tariff truce holds for now. Okay. 19 years on, Kiran Desai has a second shot at Booker. Now the Booker prizes are given to authors. It's a prize in literature. And Kiran Desai has already won a Booker Prize for one of her books. Okay. So if and when she wins, this prize, it would of course be a piece of information of great interest as a GK question. Okay, that pretty much is it. Then we have the nation page where just updates on information, nothing major. The next nation page again has a couple of interesting updates and I believe these must be things happening in the parliamentary sessions, where one headline says the Prime Minister slams Nehru for IWT signing, stresses on anti-India offerings. So of course the IWT is the Indus Water Treaty, which was the treaty between India and Pakistan for the sharing of the waters of the Indus River and its tributaries. And the Indus Water Treaty was suspended following the Pahalgam attacks. So the Prime Minister, most probably in response to the charges from the opposition party, has slammed Nehru for this signing. On the other hand, we also have a news regarding the Home Minister Amit Shah, where Shah accuses Congress of shielding Pakistan and slams Chidambaram. Okay. Below that, yet another news from the same proceedings, where the opposition says that Home Minister must take responsibility for security lapses. So all these verbal confrontations obviously going to happen in the parliament, and let's just hope and pray as the tax-paying citizens of this country that some productive work takes place there. Okay, we come to the business page where the individual newses will be of interest to business management aspirants, economic followers, finance enthusiasts. Uh, at the bottom, there is a there is an article, but this is a continuation of a news in the front page, where Shailesh Jejurikar has been appointed as the chief for Procter and Gamble. So Shailesh Jejurikar will be the first Asian and Indian CEO minted entirely in the Indian education system to helm the 188-year-old company whose founding predates Abraham Lincoln's tenure as US president. Okay, so uh, Shailesh Jejurikar, first Indian CEO of Procter and Gamble, right? Okay, so this would be something to be celebrated by nationalists. In other news from the business page, orders on hold, exporters brace for uncertain times, and the Infosys CEO indicates no layoffs and to hire freshers. Right. Now, finally, we come to the middle page containing different articles of great interest. On top, we have AI tempers Trump tariffs. This is an article by Ruchi Sharma who says dollar hasn't strengthened, US hasn't stagflated, markets haven't tanked. So far, Trump's trade policy has been offset by tech-driven bullishness and the tax breaks in his big beautiful bill. And it also reads the unexpectedly mild impact of tariffs in US is also minimalizing the worldwide ripple effect. Global growth has notably started accelerating again. Interesting. Below that is an article by Sandeep Das, why brands Gen Z obsession costs them. Because there's a fortune to be made from 60 plus consumers. They are the ones with a lot of time and money on their hands. Goods and services they want represent very lucrative opportunities. Okay, so the word which catches my eye is definitely the word lucrative, something which is very profitable. And of course, although social media is full of Gen Zers, but the markets, the businesses would do well to remember that the actual spending customers, the one who have money and willingness to spend them, might not necessarily be the Gen Zers. They could be the millennials, or as this article seems to be, it could literally be the Gen Xers. So don't fall into the trap of just glamour and cater to the new Gen Zs, but do take a serious, deep, dark look at the older customers. Okay. The three left columns, first one, sign up. While driving a hard tariff bargain with Trump, India shouldn't give rivals a head start in US market. Interesting. Next, bad air, so what? That Haryana doesn't have a single working AQI reader tells you a larger story on governments across India. Okay, so what exactly is the AQI? Well, that should be the air quality index, measure of how polluted or otherwise the air in a particular area is. And Delhi and neighboring areas have always been in the news for excessive pollution being caused with industrialization, lot of companies and factories being set up, and of course parali burning, which is the crop burning which happens to get rid of the stubble. Okay, so this would be an interesting article to read. And below that, Jack Suraya's column, Second Opinion, Water Woes, there's too much or too little of the precious liquid on which all life depends. That would be an interesting humorous read. We move on to the next page, which is the special page. In land of Kohinoor, monsoon brings a harvest of diamonds. Come rainy season and stones worth crores can surface in this corner of Andhra. These discoveries may seem like isolated strokes of luck, but they draw fortune seekers by the dozen. Very, very interesting. So, as a general read, this particular thing can be taken note of. We move on to the next page, which is a tech related page. From back office to brain trust. Purpose, patents, and profits are becoming the new metrics for GCCs as they mature. So, what is a GCC? A GCC is a global capability center, the tech and operations arms of MNCs. Okay. So for people interested in technology and business, this entire page can be given a read. We come to the sports page devoted to cricket, where Gambhir in heated altercation with the Oval curator. The Surrey groundsman accused of preventing India from having proper look at pitch to be used for crucial fifth and final test. So this is an update and a bit of a controversy in the ongoing India-England test matches. Okay. At the bottom, we have a column by Mirabai Chanu, a great athlete of India. Her opinion on the new National Sports Governance Bill, and it reads: Sports Bill empowers women with greater representation and responsibility. Interesting read. Okay. The last page again of sports, and of course, Divya Deshmukh, the 19-year-old, won the Women's World Chess World Championship and was India's 88th Grandmaster, the fourth woman Grandmaster, and of course, the first Indian female to have this title. So, this is an interview with her where she said, I took inspiration from Milkha and Mary Kom movie songs. Excellent. So, those were the major news articles from today. A couple of interesting words, many news updates, but of course the biggest thing being the exchange of words in the ongoing parliamentary sessions and the Supreme Court updates. With that, I bring today's session to an end. If you have liked this content, do hit the like button, share it with your friends, subscribe to this channel if you haven't already done so. If you wish to leave a comment, please do so below. Till then, wish you all the very best and have a good day.